Oh, hello. How embarrassing. I didn't know you were there. Welcome to the Happy Hour. My name is Pete Johnson. For the next hour, we're going to be hanging out here. And on this week's show, I'm just going to give myself some more volume. On this week's show, we're going to be breaking down and reliving, revisiting, redoing my EP called Own Battle. Last week, we did the EP called Maybe, which was all new, fresh songs in 2020. And this week, we're going to be looking at Own Battle, which was a compilation of a bunch of songs that I'd recorded and released as singles through 2018, 2019 and into 2020. So we'll be playing all of those. I've then got some deep cuts and B-sides and fun to have in the second half because there's only 6 songs on this EP. So we'll be having a bit of an experimentational time here today. There's nothing like a bit of experimentation every now and then. Let's say good day to some of the folks who happen to be here live. Hello, Angela Sinclair. Hello, Mr. Mark Bro, Ashley HM, Frank Terzo, wonderful moderator Thomas Christ, who just did an amazing rockin' show, Bleeding Red Beats, BRB, in the house. And I think, have I captured everyone? Rena was here earlier, but she got a better offer. From a different artist. I'm sure Rita will catch us up later. Joe and Barry Glenn are here because it wouldn't be a show without Joe and Barry Glenn. If you'd like to support me and you'd like to support the work that I do around here on Studio Live today, a couple of ways you can do it. You can, of course, donate using the donate link down below, the PayPal link, or you can just use the YouTube. There's the super chat there on YouTube. It's not scary. It doesn't bite. And as we always say around here, your donations are never expected, but always highly, highly appreciated. Now, this EP, as I said, it was 6 songs, and it's 6 of my favourite songs, actually, so I really enjoy playing these. I have played them acoustically live before when we've broken down this album, but like last week, this time around, I've got the instrumental versions of all of these right here in my garage band, and I thought we would jump in and I'll just sing along. I get to relax. I get to kick back and relax because the original recordings of these were all very interesting, and we'll talk a little bit about the recordings of them as we go through. But let's kick in and start with a little bit of music, shall we? This is the opening number from the track. It is a little ditty called Never to Blame. I think we all know a person, a little something like this. I cross the road and never even look one way. I always seem to know the perfect thing to say, and I don't even wave at other cars when I pass by. Don't have the time, you know I'm such a special guy, and all my friends are telling me that I should be ashamed, but I'm not even listening 'cause I'm never to blame. I spend a fortune, but I never pay the tab. I just don't give a damn when I make other people mad, and I throw my fellow humans under buses when I can. It's doggy dog out there, so why not man eat man? And all my friends are telling me that I might be insane, but I'm not even listening 'cause I'm never to blame. People tell me that I'm such a selfish little man, but they're just jealous of the way I get just what I want, and everyone is saying I'll regret it in the end. They keep saying karma's catching up with you, my friend, and I don't hear it when they laugh at me and tell me you're so vain. Might take 2 to tango, baby, but I'm never to blame. That was Never to Blame, the opening track. And yeah, I think we all know someone A little something like that, right? Yeah, they're never to blame. And I wrote that as a bit of a literal and figurative middle finger to all of those folks who go about their life just doing what they do. And look, I believe in that. I believe in you do you, but there's a second part to that. There's the you do you, as long as you're not hurting anyone else, right? As long as you're not doing anything that's going to impact other folks, then yeah, you do you. But yeah, people that go out of their way to bring other people down, tell other people what to do, and ultimately don't take any responsibility for their actions. Yeah, can anyone think of anyone like that that might be in the news right now? Never to blame. It's always someone else's fault. Anyway. Hope you're doing well. Let's say good day to some folks who have joined us since we started the show. We have Mr. Tremor Bear. I found a song, Bear, as I was going through my archive to do the B-sides. I'm not playing it today, but I did a song with Bear called An Illusion a while ago. And I was like, oh, I should definitely dig that one up and maybe sing that on a future show because that's a cool tune. Hello, Princess LDG. We love seeing Princess LDG around the place. And yeah, if you're here and you're just lurking, that's cool. Feel free to lurk on, lurk away. But we will be playing a bunch of tunes. Is it orange? Actually, is it the beer I'm drinking? I'm glad you asked. While I open my beer, yes, as Thomas says there, you can donate to the channel. You can also go ahead and check out my music. So if you just go to petejohns.com, that will take you to a list of all the albums, all the EPs, all the singles, all the everything that I have released. And hello to you, Mike. I hope you are doing well. Cheers, everyone. We're going a furphy here today. I'm not telling a furphy, but I'm going a furphy. Yes, LOL, love our lurkers. We sure as heck do. All right, I've got to find out. I haven't put these in order, which is never a good thing to do. But I've got the next tune that we're going to play. If I play these out of order, you'll have to forgive me because I didn't note the order before we started, which is always a bad idea, don't you reckon? I wanted to talk about something in that track. I didn't realize this until I just did the version here where I had to pull together the instrumental version. But what I'll do is I'll bring in this over here. This is the actual project, the GarageBand project that had this, and I realized that for the bass of this track, I actually just left in myself doing a bit of this. Which is a bit weird. So you can't really hear it when you get to the overall track, but I just thought that was pretty funny that was obviously what I wanted this bass part to be of this guitar. But I changed it to that one. So this is the bass, and this creates the double bass sound here. So it's kind of buried down in there, but I don't know, it adds a little bit of texture, and I thought that was a bit interesting when I went back to it and went, what the heck is that? I don't know. By the way, happy birthday to my dad. It's his birthday today on the 18th of June. And tomorrow for most of you folks in the US will be Father's Day as well. So it's a very fatherly kind of time going on at the moment. So happy Father's Day to any fathers. Or don't forget, if you're a son in the US, don't forget it's Father's Day tomorrow. You might want to rush out. All right, let's play our next tune. This one, if I've got the order correct, and again, not 100% confident on this, but this one was written in late 2019, early 2020, and whenever I sing this one, I always talk about the fact that at the time, there was Australian bushfires, like half the country was on fire, and that was kind of the biggest news. And I jokingly say about this one, wow, weren't those bushfires in 2020 in Australia the biggest thing that was going to happen in the world in 2020? If only we knew. If only we knew. So this is a song, a little bit about that, but mostly the main theme of this song is about the fact that sometimes our brains lie to us. And that's what anxiety is, that's what worry is, that's what fear is. It's our brains creating, it's our brains catastrophizing and creating things. And I wanted to write this as a little bit of a memo to my brain, and for me to remember that sometimes things are in your head, sometimes it's imagination, and sometimes your imagination runs away from you a little bit. This song's called Imagination. Sometimes I sit around and wonder how it is I got here and if I'm going under. All the complications of my life, all the times when I couldn't reach the knife in my back to the days when I was a little kid. Always worry about the things I never did. Always think about the next big problem, even when it's someone else that's on the hook. Me in, line and sinker. Ever wonder what it's like to be an overthinker, tinker with all my little thoughts? Maybe it was just the way that I was taught to just believe that I was right. And when I lay in bed at night, the thoughts still going round and round and round and round in my head. Don't always believe the things in your head. Sometimes it's just imagination warring. Everything is burning. Kind of surprised that the world keeps turning. Mother Nature is kicking our ass and never seem to learn the lessons of our past. Instead of happiness, we're chasing money. And I think that's kind of funny. Not hard to use an indicator to tell us your direction or even estimate the weight. Some haters are really just trying to help us appreciate the finer points to the ones who are keeping score. I think I'm about 40 love down. Up in my head just one more time. Never seem to find a way to unwinding up and never winding down. Cause I'm down in the park like a clown, James Brown. Don't always believe the things in your head. Sometimes it's just imagination. 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 Imagination, 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 imagination. That was imagination. Sometimes I write songs where they're so subtle that you can never quite tell what the lyrics and the title and how they match up and line up. And sometimes it's straight up obvious. But yeah, again, that one I wrote that a few years after I wrote the song Anxiety, and it was kind of the follow up to that. It was, anxiety was all about your brain, your anxiety lying to you and telling you that things are going wrong even when they're going right. And that's kind of what that one was. That was a memo to all of us overthinkers, overworrying catastrophizers out there, self included, to say, yeah, sometimes don't always believe the things in your head, because sometimes it is your imagination, and learning to work out when it is your brain just blowing something up versus whether it's something that you need to legitimately worry about is a tough thing. Isn't there an old Bible quote that's like, let me have the strength to overcome the things and the wisdom to not... Yeah, no, I got it totally wrong. You know what I'm saying, though. Hello, Garage Band Covers. Hope you're doing well. G'day, Dan Ekberg Music. Thank you, Barry Glenn. Thank you, Joe Glenn. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, ball boys and ball girls. I hope you're all doing well. And funnily enough, when I first released that song, someone said, you realize that if you were playing tennis, you wouldn't be 40 love down, you would be love 40 down. And I'm like, you are technically correct. The best kind of correct. Hello, John Mayer or Meyer. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for dropping by and saying good day. Good day, mates. How you doing, cobbers? Yes, be anxious for nothing and be... But the thing is, and it's been proven time and time again that basically the same chemicals in fear and anxiety are the same things as in excitement and passion. So if you can just try and harness that fear and anxiety and turn it into passion and turn it into excitement, you're probably going to have a better time of it. You're going to have a good time. All right, let's go to track number 3. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to actually check. I'm going to check the list, the playlist of my own song, which is a little bit sad that I have to do this, but I can't actually. I should have put these in order before I started this, so I'm actually going to go to YouTube and I'm literally going to go Pete John's Own Battle. And go in there and find my own EP so that I can actually see what the track listing is so that I can play it in order. Isn't that sad? Someone was asking, I think Mike asked, how many songs I've written, and I don't actually know off the top of my head the exact number. All right, we got the first 2 correct. That's good. Good news, everybody. We got the first two tracks correct. So I've probably written in the vicinity of 100-ish songs, and I've probably completed, like, as in fully. I could see how many I've released if I went into my DistroKit. I've released around about 40 to 50 songs in total, and I've probably got about another 40 or 50 in the bank that haven't ever been released. So, yeah, that's it. There it is. Lord, give me the patience and wisdom, because if you give me strength, some people will get a damn beating. Ba-dum-tsh. Hello, Frigsy, too. Thanks for staying up late. Just in from a gig. Good stuff. I hope you had a good gig, mate. Get out there playing music. Remember when we couldn't play music? I know. All right, this next song, this next tune that I'm going to play for you, if I can find the lyrics, there they are. This next song I'm going to play for you is a bit of a special one, because this is one that I collaborated on. Oh, by the way, Jade Starr does a lot of the drumming on a lot of my tracks. This was sort of BJ before Jade. I'm sure Jade will get a chuckle out of that. But so this was before Jade started doing her amazing drums. So a lot of these are programmed by me. So that's why the drums aren't as good. But this one doesn't have much in the way of drums, but it has violin. And it has violin from the amazing Dan Baker. So those of you that have been around the channel for a few years might remember when I collaborated with Dan. I wrote this song, and Dan literally heard it and said, "That song needs violins." I won't do the Dan Baker accent. "That song needs violin, Johns. Would you like me to do some?" And I said, "Would I?" And he created an amazing violin part, which is what you're going to hear. That's why I like to do these occasionally, do these where I sing them live, because you get to not just hear me play guitar, you get to hear the amazing violin work on this one of Mr. Dan Baker. So this is a song, I'll tell you a bit more about it afterwards, but this is a song all about how, the only thing that doesn't change is that things will change. It's a common misconception. It's a thing that many fear, that the comfort that we have right now is going to disappear. The only thing that stays the same is that things will change, and you can choose to kick and scream, but things will change. It's a hope of kings and peasants too. It's a dream of weak and brave. It's a fear as big as speaking of, and a fact that never fades. The only thing that stays the same is that things will change, and you can choose to kick and scream, but things will change. So what is to be done of it? Oh, and what else do we say when everything we know and love is changing every day? The only thing that doesn't change and you can choose to kick and scream, but things will change. Yes, things will change. How good are those Dan Baker violins on that track? Believe it or not, and if you don't believe it, I can prove it to you in just a jiffy. But believe it or not, those violins from Dan were just recorded using the built-in microphone on his iPad. He plugged in a pair of headphones, shoved his iPad, probably like an iPad 4, because Dan's a bit old school, and this was many years ago, and he just recorded those violins straight in. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing stuff. In fact, Dan, because he's a fellow YouTube and GarageBand educator, he actually put a video out about this, and I'm going to open it up here if that'll work. Yep, there it goes. It's going to bring it up here. So he did a video here. I'll show you a little chunk of it because at the start here, he introduces what he's going to do, and then he starts actually recording some violins. So I thought I'll cue this up to the point where he actually starts jumping in here and recording some violins, and so you can just sort of see a little bit of the behind the scenes process of what he did back in the day. So let's bring up this one. We can add this to the stream. There we are. So this is Dan Baker recording the violin, and as you can see there, he's recording it right into GarageBand just using the iPad microphone, which is a bit ridiculous.
He won't like that.
I did eventually, but yes, he did a few tries here and started recording. We'll have a listen to this. This was, I think, the final one. I mean, how good is that? It's just so cool. I'm telling myself jump to 1044 because I think this is where the real sort of magic happens, and he started layering up parts, and he sent me about 4 or 5 different violin parts, and they just all worked beautifully in the final song.
So, bottom part of the 3. Just too cool. So yeah, jump on over and check out that video from Mr. Dan Baker when you get a chance. It is awesome. He it was so cool. I found that one. I was looking back and I'm like, I wonder if I can find that video from Dan Baker. So I've pasted it here in the chat, so the folks that are here live, you can go and check that one out afterwards because it goes through. How long's the video? It won't be short because it's Dan. Love you, Dan. Yeah, 25 minutes. But you get to see the whole process. So he grabs the song, he's written out these parts, he's charted it all out, and then he just records over and over and over again, and he gets it, in my opinion, pretty much perfect by the end of it. So thank you. Thank you to Dan Baker, and I hope he's doing well, and I hope you're doing well. G'day to Patrick Moonbird. Thank you for dropping on by. Love your work. Yeah, I need to collab again with Dan again one day. Mike Swell says, I've written about 40 songs, but have not ever had the courage to release them. Anxiety really sucks. Yes, and yes. Here's the thing. Write a song called Anxiety and release that one. And then it'll all be uphill from there. It'll all be good. Downhill, uphill. It'll be a direction from there. All right. Let's jump in and find the next track. Because, again, I've forgotten the track order of my own EP. So after that one, yes, this is another one. This song's pretty meaningful for me. I really enjoyed writing it, and the original version was sort of just a fingerstyle guitar, and then we kind of layered it up and added some additional instruments, some piano, and I'm actually pretty proud of the piano in this one as well. Electric piano as well in this one. So this is called Wasting Time. and it's a song for the people that are helping the people. So it's the song for the people who are helping people with physical health, mental health, addiction, because often they don't get the same level of support that the person actually struggling does, and it can get to the point where the people helping the people are in as bad, if not worse, situations than the people that they're helping. So it's why at the end of every show I say, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and keep creating, because I always say it's like the airline thing. It's like, please fit your own oxygen mask before you can help others. Because if you can't breathe, you can't help anyone else. And the same thing, if your mental and physical health is completely shot to shit, you're going to be no good to anyone. So look after yourself first, and then you can do the important work of helping others. Let's play this one. This is called "Wasting Time." Smell of frustration, the sound of your voice, the feeling I've been here before. If silence is golden, then why are you loud? Don't take all of my time, I don't have much left for you. So don't take all of my time, I don't have much of it left for you. I know that you're hurting, hear what you say, but we've been down this road and you threw it away. Try to consider others hurt too. Don't take all of my time, I don't have much left for you. So don't take all of my time, I don't have much of it left for you. Say you're trying this time, things will be different, you'll see. But I've heard this all before, actions speak louder to me. Don't spend all of your time thinking of what you did wrong, and don't just throw in the towel, you'll find a way to belong. And don't waste all of your time thinking of what happens now. Just live one day at a time, that's all the time will allow for you, for you, for you, for you. That was Wasting Time, the fourth track from my 2020 EP, Own Battle. And yeah, look, the reason the EP is called Own Battle is that it tells the story of, my own experience, but also the experience I've seen other people. And it's kind of a bit of not an oxymoron, but it's a double meaning there. The own battle is that, like, it's not my battle, but we all have our own battles. So to me, these aren't all autobiographical, as you'll hear from the next song, because my mother never told me to go dancing. You probably know what we're coming up next. But it's weird that yeah, we all have our own battles, and I guess it's a reminder to say that you don't know what's going on inside someone else's head, and you don't know what sort of day they're having. You don't know what's going on with them. So again, being kind. Once you're kind to yourself and you're kind to others, kindness kind of wins. It kind of captures everything that you need to do. And yeah, my goal is to just spread as much kindness as possible, and that's why the end of that song is don't waste all your time thinking of what happens now. Just live one day at a time. That's all that time will allow. We're kind of obsessed with the future and the past, but sometimes you got to be in the present. As Garth said in Wayne's World, live in the now. Yeah. Okay. Did I have a banjo buried? If not, why not? It's the sort of song that could have a finger picking with the arpeggios. A banjo would actually work really well in that track. I never thought of that, but good stuff. Wild Rose CC, thank you for dropping by. Would be something like Greta Van Fleet would sing. Thank you. Yeah, sorry, I don't mean to make you cry. Well, I kind of do, because let's be honest, you write music to make people happy, but you can sometimes also write music that's going to hit you in the feels. And the good news is, the reason that we started doing this happy hour back in March of 2020, or April 2020, was that we were all struggling with all this sort of stuff. And we still are. Like, it's not a thing that's just going to go away. But it's something that we all have our own battles. And I thought, if you can sit down and listen to this EP, it takes you through some stages. And it takes you on a journey of, yourself and other people. Okay, I'll stop being quite so wanky now, and we'll get back to the music. All right, so that was, as I said, the fourth track on the album. The next one was one that I wrote this as part of a songwriting challenge on the Song Spark group. So that's a Facebook group where they give you a spark, an idea, and you have to, I can't even remember what the idea was now. Maybe I'll remember after I sing the song. But you get a spark, and then you have to write a song around that. And this song kind of just flowed out of me. I wrote this really quickly, and it was inspired by not my personal experience, because as I said, my mother never told me that I should go dance, but it came from the fact that when you're young, you've got all of this disposable time, but you often don't have the energy or the inclination or sometimes the money to do what you want to do. I remember that when I was a kid, I couldn't afford to buy all the recording gear that I have now, but I had bucket loads of time, so I just had to use whatever I had to try and create at the time. So you do things with what you've got. And then as you get older, you've got all the ability to do what you want to do, but you look back on it and go, man, where's all the time now? The one thing I'm missing is time. So this is really about that, about the passing of time, and about the fact that, you always kind of want what you haven't got. And as you go from youth to age, your priorities change. You look back on it and with rose-colored glasses, and you're like, oh man, if only I'd spent more time learning piano, or spent more time learning Italian, or spent more time. Yeah, but you can't change it. So you just have to enjoy the changing facets of life. So that's the backstory, and this is the song. It is simply called 6 and 8. Mother told me, son, you'd better dance while you've got the chance and have the talent. But I would rather sit and play with toys and hang out with the boys and start some trouble. So she dragged me away, all the while trying to say, son, there'll be time for all that, you better start dancing. Time after time we are standing in line, and we're making the most of each rhyme. I'm happy to see that you're waltzing with me, and we're dancing in 6 and 8 time. Now I found out be romance around the corner. 10 years later, we would be as one. A different kind of fun, but one that's lasting. Work and mortgage and kids, wouldn't change it for quids. Only wish there was more time to go dancing. Time after time we are standing in line and we're making the most of each rhyme. I'm happy to see that you're waltzing with me and we're dancing in 6 and 8 time. Now we're older, time is moving on. Like a distant song you don't remember. But I know one thing that will never fade. The memories we made will last forever. And my mother was right, and to my delight, now I can pass on her words to the next generation. Time after time we are standing in line and we're making the most of each rhyme. I'm happy to see that you're waltzing with me and we're dancing in 6 and 8 time. Time after time we are standing in line and we're making the most of each rhyme. I'm happy to see that you're waltzing with me and we're dancing in 6 and 8 time. Yes, we're dancing in 6 and 8 time. We're dancing in 6 and 8 time. We're dancing in 6 and 8 time. 6 and 8. Yeah, when you can't name a song, just name it after the time signature that you happen to use in the song, and you're good to go. Alrighty. Thank you, everyone, again, for hanging out here. That is track 5. We've got one more song of the EP, and then we're going to do I'm going to be presumptuous, and we're going to do a little encore, whether you ask for it or not. It was funny. I was at my daughter's choir concert last night, and they said we're coming to the last number, and they said, "Oh, and if you want an encore audience, mums and dads and carers, what do you have to do? You have to yell encore." And she went on with it, and then she went over to one of the people in the choir, and she's like, "So who decides if there's an encore?" And they were like, "The conductor." And they were like, "Well, I guess she does, yeah, at the end of the day." So yeah, it's the artist that really gets to decide if there's an encore, but you can ask for it or not. Thank you, Thomas Christ. Appreciate you. Thanks, Baz. Thank you, Friggsy. Yeah, I always think of folks like Friggsy when I sing that song, because it's definitely got a bit of an Irish feel to it. Thank you, Keonra, if I didn't say good day to you. Thank you, Mum and Dad. Again, happy birthday, Dad. I did say it at the start of the show, but just to reiterate that. And thank you, Old House. Sounds cool. I like it. By the way, thank you to Joe and Barry Glenn. I missed it before, but thank you for the super chat, super sticker. In fact, I appreciate it, because again, this is my full-time gig. So every time someone gives a donation, I truly appreciate it, because I am like a busker. So this is part of it. So when I do this show every week, I would do it if I did, for the love of it, because I actually adore doing this show each and every week. I can't kind of imagine my Sundays without it. Who knows? Things will change. I did sing about that before. Things will change, but I love doing it. But I do definitely appreciate it, because it means that people like Joe and people like Mars Capone. There you go. Happy birthday to Pete John Senior. Yes, happy birthday to Dad. There you go. I'll be able to buy a present for my dad. No, hopefully I've already got one. By now. Alrighty. Let's we are going to finish off the EP now. I usually try to finish on a high note. And look, while this final song on the EP is a high note, it's a bit of a weird one, because it was originally called People These Days, because I was getting frustrated. I'll be very honest with you. I was getting very frustrated at people, especially people on the internet, who care more about what other people think of them, and put posts out there to try and big note themselves and flex on other people, and it just got too much. And it reminded me actually of a George Costanza quote. Where's my Seinfeld's fans at? Yeah, he's like, we're trying to have a society here. Like, there's this thing where he just gets so frustrated with people and what they do that he's just like, what's wrong with people? We're trying to have a society here. And I thought, that's a great premise for a song, especially because I think it's only gotten worse as we've got into the social media era where people seem to think they have to prove themselves to everyone all the time. So we're going to finish off the EP with this final track. It is called exactly that. We are trying to have a society here. And it goes a little something like this. What's the matter with people these days? Trying to be something more. They're worrying more about what people say than who they can do something for. We're trying to have a society here, but they only care about how they appear. What's the matter with people these days? They don't seem to do what they feel. They're busy complaining about their dead-end job and missing out on what is real. We're trying to have a society here, but they only care about pizza and beer to make other people think they've got it made, while everyone knows they're just trying to get laid. What's the matter with people these days? They don't seem to care what is right. They're making excuses and passing the blame. So let's make a toast and share one more post for the strangers that don't even care. I thought that was the cherry on top that the EP needed. After we've gone through, we've had the feels, we've talked about the serious issues, and it wraps a ribbon around it. We start with Never to Blame, which is about people that are dicks and never to blame, and then we end up with We're Trying to Have a Society Here. So it's almost like if you listen to the first and the end, then you're probably not going to listen to the middle, because you're not the sort of person that's in touch with their feelings or that cares about other people. But thank you for listening into this one. I hope you had some fun and learnt a few things about the making of the EP and the songwriting processes and the reasons I wrote some of these sort of things. I know it wasn't super technical because it's the happy hour after all. I'm not going to get into chord changes and progressions and instrumentation too much. But there you go. You can grab the Own Battle EP there if you want to go and relive it. Then you can jump over to that link and check it out. You can stream it on your Spotify's, your Apple Music's, your iTunes, your Deezers, your Amazons, your Tidals, wherever you find good music, it's going to be there. So thank you. Pizza and Beer. Yeah, I changed that one up. Pizza and Beer. A little bit of harmonic vocals there. Yeah. It's that song sounds like, is it just me, or does the start of that track sound like the Sesame Street theme? Like, I'll just play the piano bit. Like when I was listening back to this, I'm like, oh no, did I plagiarize Sesame Street? Sunny days, keeping the clouds away. Can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street? Something like that. Anyway, yeah, exactly. You can go back. If you go back in time, you can find, if you search the names of the tracks, there's usually a songwriting video or a behind-the-scenes kind of video about the creation of this stuff. So if you like what you hear here and you want to learn how to do it, yeah, hang out, because I teach through demonstration as opposed to a whole lot of other knowledge. So you can do that. When you teach through demonstration, you don't have to know much, do you? Now, because we've got some time, I thought we'd have some fun. And I thought I'd play a few B-sides and deep cuts here for you, because there's some interesting stuff behind the scenes. And I'm going to play one song that you've probably heard before, two songs that you may not have heard before, and then I'm going to finish with my new single, like my latest single, which was released earlier this year, so that you can go out with a bit of a rockin' vibe and get a bit of a pep in your step before you, I don't know, go to bed for most of you. But I thought that might be fun. So I wanted to play this one because every time I think about traveling again, I think about this song that I wrote about flying. And this is again, I wrote it around the same time I wrote Imagination, so it's a bit more of a rap or a hip hoppy kind of song. I don't even know what genre to call this one, but it kind of takes you on a bit of a journey. And a lot of people have said that, yeah, that this song is very intense, like it just doesn't stop, and it kind of hits you in the face. And then when you realize what it's actually about, it kind of does a bit of a 180, because it's all about me until it's not. So this is a song called Lucky. 4 a.m. alarm, turn off quickly. Taxi arrives, do not toot. The kids are still asleep. Well, maybe I am too. Skip the coffee, try to sleep on the plane today. Pack my bags, have I got what I will need? I'll see, cause that's my preference. It keeps me separate from the people carrying way too much in the overheads. Safety demonstration, hoping once again it won't be needed. It's a class structure on a tiny scale. Life will have its ups and downs, and sometimes I complain about the things that I will choose to do and who it is that I can blame. But when I see the other people cold and sleeping in the rain, I'm lucky to be flying today. Flying today. Flying today. Yes, I'm lucky to be flying. 8 a.m. is when I land, it's time to plan my getaway. A big red bus will take me all the way, past some giant orange sticks. Coffee time at last, I make it last until I reach the comfort of my home, away from home. 2-hour meeting about that new thing that's impacting our sales generation capability, promoting synergy. Shifting paradigms is stressing me and making me wish that it was nearly time to start my journey home. Life will often make me feel that expectations are unreal, and deadlines that I have to hit will make me think that I'm unfit. But when I see the other people begging for my change to eat, I'm lucky to be flying today. Flying today. Flying today. Yes, I'm lucky to be flying. Yes, life will have its ups and downs, and sometimes I complain about the things that I will choose to do and who it is that I can blame. But when I see the other people cold and sleeping in the rain, wishing they could have my life even for a single day, struggling to just get by, asking for a reason why, I just walk past them every time. Hey buddy, can you spare a dime? I look away as if I find it just too hard to realise I'm lucky to be flying today. Flying today. Flying today. Yes, I'm lucky to be flying at all. Lucky to be flying. After going to the States and back, my children say they're lucky that they don't have to fly anywhere. They didn't love the international flying experience. I don't know many people who love the international flying experience when you're spending nearly 24 hours sitting on a tube of monkeys, as Tim Minchin would like to say, and to get to somewhere else. Thank you, J&B, thank you, Mum and Dad, thank you, Thomas, thank you, Trevor Bear, Mark, Jean, appreciate you. I like the arrangement of that one too, Tom. But it makes me happy to listen to. I dig it. The video, if you haven't seen it as well, it's it's interesting. It's I shot it on my iPhone 5S while on a work trip in Melbourne. So if you look up Pete John's Lucky on the YouTubes, you'll see the actual events that led up to that, because I did used to work a corporate job. I did used to work and have to travel to Melbourne quite often, and that song was written because of my journeys to Melbourne, where I'd literally get up at 4 a.m. It was actually 3:40 a.m., but 4 a.m. fit the song a bit better. So I get up at 4 a.m. I get a taxi. I go to the airport. I get the 605. It was QF 670. I still remember the flight number because I caught it so many times. I would get into the office, and it literally was at 8 a.m. I would get the Sky Bus. That's the bus I caught to the city. I'd pass the big orange sticks. If those that have been on the Tullamarine Freeway in Melbourne, you'll know there's big orange sticks just before you get to the city. I would go to my favourite coffee shop, get some Vegemite toast and get a coffee, and then I get to the office at 9 o'clock in the morning. So that was like from 3:40 to 9 a.m. That's like almost an entire work day before I started work. And it was one work trip that I was on where I was feeling a bit sorry for myself. I'd just finished the day. It was like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm like, oh man, I need to go, and I'm going to go and just sit at the pub just near the office that I was at, and just have a quiet beer just to wind down. And I'm walking along, and I just see a whole bunch of homeless people, and I'm like, dude, you got absolutely nothing to be complaining about. You are lucky. You're lucky to be flying today. Song done. That's the background of that one. Thank you, Alt House. I appreciate you. Appreciate the kind donation. I haven't seen you around the channel before. Hope to see you around here more often. We have a lot of fun around here. We've got a great community, as you've probably found out from the cool folks that are hanging out with us here. Mark says, I love flying. It's the sudden stops in the middle of cornfields that seems to interrupt the flow of my day. Yeah, badum-chish. I like it. All right, I'm going to play a couple more songs. I did mention that there'd be some songs here that maybe you've never heard before, and you have to be deep in the weeds to know this deep cut of a song that I wrote, never released. So it's an unreleased song that I put together in GarageBand. I did it in a day. So the next two songs are going to be songs I did in a day. This was done in 2018, so around the time that I was doing my album, just as a bit of fun, playing with some Apple loops, having some fun with the folks in the GarageBand Users Facebook group, and it's called Your Own Beat. And it's again, it epitomizes what I think about things, and I'll tell you a little more about it afterwards. But sit back and enjoy? Question mark? This one. Every time I step outside into the heat, I just like to walk around and use my feet. It goes left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot. Marching along down the street in the heat, I feel the beat, it's gonna go like this. 'Cause when you're marching to a different drum, it doesn't matter what anyone might think of you. You gotta just be yourself and not worry about anyone else, and just do your thing today. When you're dancing to the beat of your very own discreet old drum, yeah. How do you go? You go left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot. Just put one foot in front of the other. That's all you need to do. left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot. You got a little extra. That's a song called Your Own Beat that I wrote literally while walking on the street in the heat. Feel the beat? Yeah, I know. Some very lazy rhymes, but a bit of fun. And again, I like the concept because even though it's simple, I wrote that because I was walking along, and the way I used to write songs is that I would walk along and actually sing into my headphone microphone as I was walking around. So for those that know me, you know I do a lot of walking, so I'm always out walking around, and I've always got my iPhone, and I've always got GarageBand running. So I wrote that song literally while walking around, including all the loops, including all the arrangement, and including the original vocals. And I know what you're saying. I'd like to hear those vocals, Johns. So I'm gonna give you a little taste of those vocals here. So if we add this one here, this is the GarageBand project that we had, and let's listen to these original vocals, and I'll even solo them for you just to embarrass myself a little more. Not record. We're not recording anything, GarageBand. It's like a little puppy that's like, are we going for a walk, Pete? Are you going to record something? No, we'll just play this. Every time I step outside into the heat. Hear the background? I like to just walk around and use my feet. How well placed was that car driving past at that bit? So if you listen to the original version, it has exactly those vocals, and I found that today, and I thought I'm gonna play that because it's a little bit fun. Hello, Friggsy. Goodbye, Friggsy. Have a good night, mate. I know it's very late for you. Thank you. Yeah, it's a bit of something different. Yes, chickens on Howard Street is the other deep cut. I couldn't find that one. That's so far in the archives. It's not even on my iCloud drive. I don't think iCloud drive existed when I wrote Chickens on Howard Street. It's somewhere buried in a Google Drive archive. So maybe we need to do a super old school one time. We'll do that in the future. We are running out of time, funnily enough. I thought we'd have more time. I'm still going to play 2 more songs because for those who were around for GarageBand Weekly this week, you would have seen me attempting to create an 8-bit chip tune kind of sound, and I actually wrote a song in an hour. A song that I called, what did I call it? I called it Boom Boom. I wrote a song called Boom Boom, and I thought, why don't I play that song? Let's see if this one, while I'm playing all of these songs where I don't have to play along, why don't I play this tune that we created? I know some of you were there watching, and we did it all within an hour. I haven't added anything or changed anything to this apart from tidying up a couple of lyrics that I'm going to sing along to. So here's the world premiere of a new song of mine called Boom Boom. Let's do it. I saw you at the Pac-Man. You put a quarter in. Your fingers on the joystick. Your face, it had a grin. I wanted Space Invaders. You wanted Donkey Kong. That's when I had to go home, because my heart goes boom, 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 boom. Every time I see your face, it goes boom, 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 boom. Now my heart, it starts to race. I'm playing on my own now. I'm on my NES. I blow into the cartridge. That's when my heart goes boom, 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 boom. Every time I think of you, it goes boom, 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 boom. My heart is overloading now. Every time I see your face, it goes boom, 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 boom. Now my heart, it starts to race. It goes boom, 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 boom. Every time I think of you, my heart goes boom, 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 boom. My heart, it's overloaded now. And again, you get a little bit extra. I had an absolute blast making that song on GarageBand weekly this week. Just wanted to make a chip tune song with a bit of a cheesy 80s hook. So that's what it. Look, it has to be released. It's going to be. That'll be the new Righty Dokey single. So because it doesn't really match the Pete Johns brand, that'll be going out as a Righty Dokey tune. See you, Joe and Barry Glenn. Thank you for being here. We got one more song to play here today. I wanted to thank you. Thanks to all those who've donated. Thanks to Joe and Baz. Thanks to Mars Capone. Thanks to, now is it Vault House or is it Alt House? I'm not sure. It looks like Vault House or Vault Houses. But I thank you all for being here, and thank you to those who've donated. And if you want to hit the like button on your way out, I definitely won't stop you from doing that. That's a free way that you can support me and the channel as well. And I thought I would take us out here tonight with a little bit of old school rock and roll with some guitars and some punky goodness, because I've got a song. A song called Sink or Swim that I wrote and recorded and released earlier this year. You can check it out on all the streaming platforms as well. And I thought it would be a cool tune for us to finish with here, because it is, in my opinion, it's a pretty rockin' tune. And I want to leave you with, without boom boom in your head, I'd rather leave you with this song. This is called Sink or Swim. It's our last song, and thanks for being here. All my life I've worried about the things in the water I cannot see. Got this panic washing over me. I have a fear of what might sting and what those circling sharks will bring. Maybe I'll be safer on the shore, 'cause I don't know what's in the water. And I don't know if I'll sink or swim. Talking heads on the news today, telling me what to think and say. Some people won't come back from down below. On reflection, my memories are always making a fool of me. But I'm learning to ebb and flow with the tide. 'Cause I don't know what's in the water, and I don't know if I can win. There might be more under the surface, but it's time to dive in. Oh yeah! I don't know what's in the water, and I don't know if I can win. There might be more under the surface, but it's time to dive in. Nobody knows what's in the water. Nobody knows who's gonna win. Well, I'm gonna just keep on floating, even though I might sink or swim. sink, or swim. I would suggest swim. And the reason that I don't have to worry about the circling sharks in the water is because that's their home, that's their house, that's where they live, and I will not go visit them there. I'll paddle, I'll toddle out in the little shallows with the minnows. Which is a metaphor for me, isn't it? Yeah, like the shallow water with the things that don't bite. But that's just me. Thank you, appreciate you. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Old House. Thank you, Keonra, Tremor Bear, Mike Swell. Thank you, John Swanson, Mr. Mark Bro. Thank you. Yes, happy birthday to you. Thank you. Who haven't I said good night to? Farewell. If I'm missing you, will Boom Boom be released through DistroKid? That's a great idea, Mark. Boom Boom will be released through the DistroKid app on iOS. You know what? I don't think I'm going to get it ready for tomorrow, but maybe next week on Your Music Live. Maybe we release it live on Your Music Live. I don't know if DistroKid would approve of that because if things went wrong. But yeah, maybe we try to do that. Release a song live using the DistroKid app, or at least I can do a video about it. Thank you. Yeah, a little bit of punk rock to finish it off there. Yes, what's in the water is H2 and O. Exactly. A little hydrogen, a little oxygen, and a whole lot of sharks and fishies. All right, thank you everyone for being here today. I hope you enjoyed this little back in time reflection on things. And you know, as I say, the only thing that doesn't change is that things will change. Even when I go back and look at this EP, it feels different. It hits different at different times, and that's the cool thing about creating music. And to Mike, who mentioned it before, who's got a bunch of songs and hasn't released them. Just do it. Like, you know you want to. You know you want to get your music out there. But yeah, do it within the community, or share it with a friend, or share it with a small group of people first if you're worried about it. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's like a muscle. Music and creating music and putting yourself out there is like a muscle. The more you work at it, the better it's going to get and the stronger you'll be. So yeah, go out and do your thing and share and be part of the community. That's going to do it. As we say at each and every show, please be kind to yourself. Please be kind to others. Keep creating. And I'll see you next time here on The Happy Hour. Oh, tomorrow. Yeah, I meant to say. I had my notes here. Tomorrow, Your Music Live. Make sure you tune in for Your Music Live. It's going to be a heck of a lot of fun. And until next time, I hope your heart goes boom boom. See ya. Goodbye. Adios. Farewell. Boom, 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 boom.